Follow along as we build a fitting tribute to the Land Rover Defender. This series is brought to you by LR Centre Limited and Frost Auto Restorers. And SIP Industrial Products. Following on from last week, more painting. Painting is very time consuming, but one little trick you can use for axle painting is cut a broom handle in two, shove it in the axle tubes, or even just bolt on some old stub axles, and they let you rotate the axles around on the axle stands. Again, we're using more of the superb Frost chassis paint. I absolutely love the finish this product is giving, and it's so durable. I've been scratching it with keys and all sorts, and it lasts. The post-it delivered our TD5 Workshop Defender manual. It's extremely helpful for rebuilds because the Haynes manuals, they're okay but they're very vague.
It's not a bad idea to get the Land Rover parts manual as well, so you can see just exactly what's involved and how things are assembled together.
So we want to support our upper link arm, in this case we're using a vise, and apply copper slip or the lithium grease that comes in the SuperPro packet onto the bush and also the leading edge of the hull. Then use this simple tool, it's just an M12 bolt with some washers on it, place that in position before adding a washer and nut. The thicker the washer the easier this will be and the straighter it'll go in. And then all you need to do is crank it down, the bush slips into place, and with these bushes and this tool we can actually swap them anywhere. They're a lot easier than the Metalastic originals, and that could be in a desert, car park, wherever. No press required. Just push the inner sleeve into place as well. Now a similar technique using a bearing race or another kind of drift would allow you to remove them without damaging them in the field as well.
Okay, so in front of me I have the components that make up the A-frame link, the A-frame assembly, or what will become the A-frame assembly. Here you've got your upper link arms, and these are the brackets that hold them to the chassis. These are actually upside down right now, so they go on there like that. Through the frame centre is the fulcrum bracket and ball joint, which allows the axle to pivot, but at the same time, in combination with the lower link, it keeps the axle in a constant axis of travel. So it's a very important part, a bit of a pain to work on when your vehicle's assembled, but not too bad when it's all disassembled like ours is. I went for a new fulcrum bracket and ball pivot joint because this is a pain to press out. I don't have a press, and so to use the old one would have required taking it to an engineering place or somewhere, or borrowing a press from someone. So I just bought a new one, it's cheap enough. Then we've got all new components, it's been pre-painted, and then we can just use our bolts here and bolt the whole thing together. Right, so the arms need to kink out and upwards, so this is the correct orientation. I'm just going to put the bolts through. Quite nice long bolts these.
To help with future repairs, surfaces and bolts have all been smeared with copper slip. It should offer a little bit of corrosion resistance too, though we are using our M1 spray, the corrosion spray, on every fixing.
I ordered the correct bolts from lrparts.net, our main sponsor, purely because I wasn't sure if those were rated 10.9 bolts or not, so I thought, well, if I buy the genuine ones, then I know I've got the right stuff. So we're just following the workshop manual now, assembling it all together. I'm keeping on this protective cover that we have on the ball joint till I actually am ready to assemble it, because that should help look after it just a little bit more. So let's put copper slip again, and then pull the other painted upper link arm into place, push the bolts through, put a dab of copper slip on the ends. So the manual tells us to tighten these to 176 Newton meters of torque as per the upper link arm brackets as well. However, it also tells us not to do that till they're in position, so I'm going to obviously follow that advice. The fixings for the upper link brackets are a set of 6 bolts, and there are 4 45mm and 2 55mm M10. There's a 10.9 tensile strength as well. You also need some washers, oversized M10 washers.
I'm now attaching the upper link brackets to the rear chassis crossmember located in front of the fuel tank on a TD5 Land Rover 90. It's very simple, just bolt it up. Again, adding copper slip, and remember the brackets are handed, so you need to get those the right way around. Richard Chassis do a very good job of drilling out each hole for you before you pick up your chassis, and it removes galv, spikes and spatter, but a few of the holes may need a final bit of filing. Once those are in place, I've lifted the A-frame assembly into position, pushing the M14 bolts through the brackets, through the bush centres and out the other side for adding the nut and tightening down. That's the A-frame ready to accept the axle.
I'm now going to fit part number LR041260, which is the rear shock damper brackets. Those are fitted with 3 bolts each, and the part you purchase, this is an all makes part, actually works both sides, so you just need 2 of the part number we mentioned. So let's get those fitted. Like so, that lines up nicely. We'll put our washers.
Frost.co.uk have been helping us out with all our restoration needs on the build. Here we're using their excellent benchtop shot blasting cabinet, and the kit includes everything you need apart from the compressor and some shot blasting media. Assembly is very simple, it's pretty much ready to go out of the box. Shot blasting is a very eco-friendly option for Land Rover restorers. We can use old parts, reuse them. I'm using recycled glass here as my shot blasting media, so again, recycling, and it's very cost effective. For 25 kilograms, you're looking at about £5 delivered. Let's take this rusted bulkhead bracket. To clean this with a grinder and steel brush would take a while to remove all the rust. Let's put it in the shot blaster. Make sure to secure the lid, and as you can see, it cuts down to bare metal in seconds. Rust's gone, old paint has gone, anything else completely blasted away, and so our rusted clapped out components are back to a corrosion free surface, just clean bare metal, which we can then prep and paint. Look at the difference. Even better, this is a sub £100 cabinet, so check that out here on the Frost website. Then it's time to fit the swivels, so my glamorous assistant is greasing the lips of the swivel housing inner oil seal, and also the surface around it in the back of the swivel housing. The lips must be trailing, this is crucial, so that the seal's the right way around. Here is the oil seal itself. You can see this is the primary oil seal, and above the dust seal is shown. It's the primary oil seal that needs to be trailing, so make sure you fit it the right way. Make sure you add a bit of grease to the swivel as well, and then just push it in square without damaging that spring that creates the seal. Then fit the axle gasket. We put a little bit of Hylamar on there and bolt up the swivel housing. Then after tapping in the new races for the row car bearings on the swivel, grease up the bearing and put these in place. Remember, there's a few different types of the swivel housing locating pins for different models of Land Rover, so check your workshop manual. Fit the swivel housing, and the orientation of that needs to be so that the calipers are going towards the rear. Those are shown, there's 2 little lugs with the holes through, that's where your caliper mounts to. And unfortunately we've run out of time for this video. In the next episode we will get the whole lot rolling on its own wheels. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of FunRover TV. You can see our last episode here, and also check us out on funrover.com. We are at FunRover on Twitter and Instagram, and we're also on Facebook.